welcome to an exciting episode,
of Chapter Chatters podcast.
the show where we delve deep into the world of literature, exploring captivating stories, intriguing characters, and the wonders of the written word.
With me, Claire and Mark. And today we have our special guest, Jerelyn, an English major student who wants to delve deeper into the world of literature. So grab a cozy spot, a warm beverage, and let's embark on this literary adventure together.
Let's welcome our very special guest, Jerelyn, and ask how she is. So, how are you, Je?
Hello, everyone. First of all, thank you for inviting me to join this very special podcast of Chapter Chatters podcast. I am very happy to be here on such a lovely day. And I am doing great. Thanks for asking, Mark. Actually, I am looking forward to the book you are going to recommend today.
And now that you've mentioned it, isn't it a beautiful day to just reminisce about our childhood days? Especially that it is kind of raining while we're shooting the show, right?
You're absolutely right. And the weather makes me want to go back in time and to revisit cherished moments and bask in the warmth of nostalgia. And speaking of, it is still vivid in my mind the endless summer days I spent riding on my bicycle back then. And the thrill of learning it is one of the best times of my life when I was a kid. Do you still remember your childhood memories, Jet?
My childhood memories are some of the memories that I will never forget. We played Chinese garter on the road, 10-20, tumbang preso, tago-tagoan, and many more games until no one was injured and no one was sent home by their parents. And how about you, Mark?
Since you've asked, my childhood days were actually one of the best times of my life. I can still actually remember how me and my childhood friends used to create a DIY kite and fly it after. And we had so much fun playing kites and seeing who can make their kite fly in the air for so long. And that brings us to our book recommendation for today, which is titled The Kite Runner, a thought-provoking novel by Clyde Hosseini.
I have a question. Since I came here for the book recommendation, which chapter of the novel do you think is the most captivating chapter that will convince not only me, but also the audience of this podcast to read the novel, Claire?
For us, it is definitely the chapter 25 that captivated our heart, mind, and soul. I believe that the ending of a book can make someone get hooked and read the whole novel. And this chapter is a continuation of the journey of Amir as he returns to his home country. And this is the moment that he discovered about the tragic fate of his childhood best friend named Hassan. In a heart-stopping scene, he aims to rescue the son of Hassan, Surabd, from the Taliban's.
And yes, this chapter is specifically revolves around Sorab and Amir's quest to bring Sorab back to America. However, trigger warning, Sorab attempted suicide, but Amir found him and quickly saved him luckily. And so during the critical period of time, during the times that Sorab was hospitalized, Amir wept and prayed to Allah to save Sorab, as he does not wish to have both Hassan and Sorab's blood on his hands. And fortunately, Sorab was saved and was then put on a suicide watch to prevent him from attempting to suicide again. So um, after that, Sorab was never the same again. He became quiet and sad, and that made it hard for Amir to actually take Sorab back to America.
Oh my God, this is super heartbreaking. And what happened next, Claire?
Unfortunately, Surab became deeply traumatized by his experiences. But the determination of Amir and Soraya to adapt and bring Surab in America gave a glimmer hope and a brighter future for the young kid. However, General Tehari, the father of his wife, is initially against the idea of adopting Surab. And eventually, the love and compassion of Amir and Suraya towards the boy are the convincing factors that help to change the perspective of the general.
And during the Afghan New Year, Sarab, Amir, and Soraya went out to party with the other Afghan families. And while they were celebrating, Amir saw a man selling a kite. He quickly bought one and invited Sarab to fly the kite with him. Amir then asked Sarab if he wanted to fly it and for Amir to run the kite. Sorab quickly smiled and replied with a nod. Amir then chases the kite and murmurs, "For you 1,000 times over" to Sarab. So the ending of this story is actually an open-ended ending because we never knew or we never know what happened after. We just know that um Sorab and Amir reconciliated.
For me, the line "for you 1,000 times over" is honestly a heartwarming, Mark. And Claire, I have a question for you. What do you think the kite symbolizes in the book, specifically in this chapter?
That's an interesting question, Je. After we read that book, it made us realize that the ending scene in chapter 25 symbolizes the closure and reconciliation for Amir and his childhood best friend Hassan. And I think that scene is one of the remarkable part as Amir and Surab find solace in each other's company and look forward to a brighter future despite of their past.
I think this book would make me cry just like how it made you cry, Claire. And I have my tissue here. It's just one chapter, but I felt a roller coaster of emotions while you two are telling me the chapter 25. And I want to know, what is your favorite line, or what is the remarkable line for you from the book, especially from chapter 25, Mark?
Well, for me, the most remarkable line from this novel is when Hassan said, "For you 1,000 times over" to Amir while running the last kite for him. And now in the book's final chapter, which is the chapter we are discussing today, Amir repeats the same line to Hassan's son, which is Sarab, symbolizing an emotional shift of loyalty from the past to the present. It signifies Amir's profound commitment to care for Sarab. It mirrors the selflessness Hassan once showed him in the past.
An extremely powerful line to remember, Mark. And I think I need more tissue while reading that book. What about you, Claire? What did you learn from the novels, specifically from this chapter?
Actually, the emotional impact of this novel is undeniable. I have been moved to tears as I reflect into the journey of Amir. And this book evokes the power of friendship, betrayal, and forgiveness. And I realized that there can be a path towards healing and reconciliation. That no matter how dark our past is, it is never too late to find a light towards our future.
Now that it made more interesting for me to read that, and I cannot wait for our recording to finish today because I will be reading that book right after we wrap up this podcast. And I just want to thank you guys for having me today, for letting me ask questions about this book that you recommended. Definitely, I will also recommend this to my friends and my family for them to read this wonderful novel you have discussed today.
And we are so thankful to have you here with us, Jen. And there you have it. This finally concludes today's book recommendation with The Kite Runner by Claude Husseini. We hope this episode has ignited your curiosity and inspired not only our guest speaker, Jerelyn, but also you, our dear audiences, to read the book we discussed that takes you on an unforgettable journey today.
And we hope that our dear listeners had fun listening to our episode today. This has been Claire.
This has been Mark and our special guest for this episode, Jerelyn.
Until next time,
Keep tuning in to the wonders of Chapter Chatters podcast. Bye.